And we are back. Well, I gotta get my mic over here. Shit. We are back with another outstanding episode of Square Table Degenerates. Today we welcome to the show legendary singer and probable fashion model, Mr. Chesney Hawkes. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, man. How's it going with you?
It's good, man. It's a little chilly today. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, here in the States. It's the first day. It's been like 40. It's touched the 40s a little bit. So I'm getting ready, man. I got to get find my hoodies and get ready for the winter and the fall and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know how it is.
I do. I'm actually in Copenhagen at the moment, just looking out. It's actually beautiful blue skies. Yeah. I'm doing a little mini tour in Scandinavia. I was in Helsinki and Sweden last night, and so I'm on my way back to the UK tomorrow.
Okay, so the chewing tobacco is gonna be really fresh in Copenhagen. That's cool.
That's the truth.
It's a weird way to start off, but I always start off with weird stuff. Have you ever chewed tobacco or thought about it in your life?
No, I'm not really a tobacco guy at all. So no, the thought of chewing tobacco actually makes me feel a bit sick.
Chewing tobacco is kind of gross. I remember a stat once. They said 0.1% of women in America chew tobacco. That's like 1 out of 1,000. Yeah. That's so funny low.
I mean, to be honest, that would put me off. If I met a girl and you know she was chewing tobacco, I'd be like,
how you doing, Chesney? Talking a big old spittoon and shit. All right, so now you were born into this business pretty much from what I've read. Now, how old do you remember when you realized that you were sort of in the biz? Like you were a kid and okay, here's a bunch of famous people standing around. Did you ever have that moment when you were a little kid running around?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad was in a band, a 60s band called the Tremolos. Very, very big band. I think they had quite a lot of success in the States as well as over this side of the pond. So Dad was, famous in his own right, but he toured with the Beatles in the early days, and he knows all of the guys from the 60s, all the kind of beat bands like the Marmalade and the Searchers and Herman's Hermits and all those great bands from, beat bands that kind of came over during the Beatles invasion. So, yeah, I was always very aware of kind of like being around fame and music and everything else.
Okay. Now, did you want to like sing, act, and dance? What was like your first passion as a young lad growing up in Berkshire? I said that right, Berkshire, not Berkshire, right?
Well, we actually pronounce it Berkshire.
Berkshire. Okay.
Yeah, but that's probably more accent than anything else. But yeah. So yeah, what was the question there? Sorry.
What was your first passion when you first started? Like, were you a dancer? Were you a singer? You like playing sport? No. Like when you were coming up as a young lad, what was your first major passion? Would you say
music always? I kind of came out singing. Music was always my first love. It still is. I can't pass the guitar without picking it up. I still have the same passion as I always did when I was young. I've never been a dancer. I don't know where that came from. I have 2 left feet. My wife would laugh at you at that one. But I have acted in the past. I've done a couple of films and stuff here and there. But music, always first love, always.
Okay. Now we're going to take a hard right here and talk about some soccer or football, as you guys call it. At what point did you get into the soccer, football, and like when you were little? Like I'm a big Browns fan. Everybody knows I'm in Ohio. I like all the Cleveland teams, but a huge Browns fan. Like I always remember, like right around 6, 7 was when I really started getting into it. Is that about the same for you with West Ham, or how did you first get into it? What was going on?
I probably started a bit later because actually, as a kid, I lived in Nashville, so there wasn't a hell of a lot of footy. As we call it, around in Nashville, if you know what I mean, except from the age of 5 to 9. So it was really when I came back kind of late 70s, early 80s, and I would have been kind of 9 years old, something like that, start getting into football. Because, we all play it at school and everyone's got a team. It's very, very tribal in England. So my dad was a QPR fan, and QPR are from kind of Shepherd's Bush in West London. And, he never had the kind of passion for football like I do, and like a lot of people do. And he never took me and my brother to games. So we had a close family friends that were West Ham season ticket holders. They took me and my bro to, I remember our first game, it was away to Tottenham. Very contentious tie, that is, a London derby basically. And we lost 5-0, and all the West Ham fans were doing the hokey cokey up and down the aisle, and it's just a classic kind of funny moments. And that's we just loved the atmosphere and kind of knew that was our people. So West Ham was our team. And the thing about football, and I don't think it's the same in America, to be honest with you. It doesn't have the same kind of tribal vibes to it. But like, there's no way you can be supporting more than one team, and there's absolutely zero chance you could be changing your football team. You can change everything else in your life, your car, your job, your wife, your sex. You cannot change your football team. That ain't cricket.
I would agree with that 100%. And because I've been a Browns fan, and the Browns have been historically bad. I mean, we're talking monumentally bad. Like, I'm glad the NFL isn't set up like the Premier League, or the Browns would be playing like the local, orphanage or something, the Z League or whatever the fuck is called. It's so bad. That's how I could kind of trauma bond with you, because like I looked up West Ham and they didn't win any titles, and the Browns didn't win any titles. So that kind of fit in. But what is it? One thing I always struck me weird is that, like, are you guys the Brits? Are you guys like born into a team, like whatever team your dad's rooting for, you're gonna be stuck with that? Because like here in the States, like in Cleveland, most people in this area root for the Browns. There's some root for other teams around the area, but most people in the Browns. You go to England, dude. I got guys in Belfast rooting for Liverpool, and guys in all over the place. It's crazy with it. Why is it you're just born into it? Why is like no team from that city rooting for other people in that area? What's up with that?
A lot of the time, most of the time, I would say it's because it's your local team. You live in Barnsley, you're a Barnsley fan. You live near Liverpool, you're either Everton or Liverpool. You're from East London, you're either Tottenham, Arsenal, or West Ham. But sometimes, people will kind of like, for instance, there's a lot of people my age that grew up in the 80s that are Liverpool fans, because at the time Liverpool were the team. You know what I mean? So there will be Liverpool, even if they live in Cornwall or something. It's just the way there's a lot of Man United fans, just because they were big in the 90s, and like that was the team to support because of that. But that's the thing, is once you've set your allegiance, you're done. You are done. You cannot change it. So my one was literally because I went to West Ham early doors with family friend. I'm glad I stuck with it though, because West Ham is like a family team. It really is. It's you speak the same language as with the rest of the fans. You all have a particular language, certain songs, certain kind of ways to stamp your authority on who you are and where your allegiance lies. And whenever you go, you walk past a West Ham fan with a West Ham top or whether, you don't have to say anything. You just go, and that's it.
that's like it. That with Ohio State football, the college football in the States. That it's like that with you see somebody with the Buckeyes or we're like OH, and they chant back IO everywhere. It gets a little annoying sometimes because, like, I mean, I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm like diehard. I didn't go to Ohio State for college or university. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'll still root for them, but like some of these guys, it's weird. It's like the people who didn't go to college are the most passionate Ohio State fans. I think in this area, it's just because the Browns are just so bad. They just need something to grab onto because Ohio State's pretty good. It's crazy. Yeah. I know. I got a couple West Ham questions, and if I don't know some of the subject matter, guide me through it, because I reached out to some of my buddies to get some questions for you. and he said, all right, the London Stadium seems soulless. How much do you miss Upton Park?
Oh, that's a good question. I grew up going to Upton Park, and my brother and I used to go home and away, kind of mid 80s. So like, we are used to the atmosphere at Upton Park. So Upton Park was a small, classic, traditional British football stadium. There was a standing section, place called the Chicken Run, where you just like get stuffed in, and you're just, you know, on those cold evening games and in rain and stuff like that. And so, you know, you're close to the pitch. You can kind of almost touch the players, and you can kind of shout at them, call them a wanker and whatever, and they'll hear you. But when we moved to the London Stadium, a lot of the fans were, you know, they really missed that kind of that atmosphere where, because when there's certain songs obviously that we'll sing, like, and our song is I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. That is the West Ham anthem. So when that started up at Upton Park, the whole crowd, the whole stadium would sing, you know, I'm forever blowing bubbles, and that's it. And you could hear and you could sing together. When it starts up at the London Stadium, which is like, you know, twice the size of Upton Park, and it seems so far away, it kind of like gets lost on the other side of the stadium. And, you know, and yeah, he's right. The atmosphere is not as good on the average kind of, you know, Premier League game or whatever. But having said that, when that stadium is rocking, like on an evening game, you know, some of the European games that we played over the last couple of years, where we played like Seville, games like that, unbelievable hair on the back of your neck kind of stands up, you know. So it's getting better and we're getting more used to it, but I think a lot of us still miss Upton Park.
I got to go to a proper Premier League game, as they say. My best thing with soccer, I would say, was back in 2006. I was in Spain. This is random as hell, but I was in Spain, and France was playing Italy in the World Cup final. Oh, wow. We went to a bar in Seville, and my God, that crowd was fun, dude. It was fun. It was just watching. It was the headbutts on the Dean Zidane game or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
was fun. But I do got to get to one of those games sometime, man. It's just any of them, really. But that's the thing, though. I can't like say, oh yeah, I'm going to support Liverpool, or I'm going to support Leeds, or I'm going to support West Ham, because like the second I say that, you get comments like, "Doof, you know, don't they pass inflatable dildos around?" You know, it's just how it is. I don't want to alienate half my UK people, you know, and I get the same thing when I was I visited UK in 2022, and I walked in some bar in God, it was up in Yorkshire, but I walked in there, and the guy had a Steelers helmet in the bar. I was like, dude, what's with the Steelers helmet? He's like, oh, it's just my buddy. He didn't even care, but it's just like me as a Browns fan. I'm like, come on, man, we got to represent.
No, here's the thing. I say it's tribal, and of course, you know, there is history of hooliganism and a lot of fighting and stuff between rival fans, especially Derby fans. But the truth is, the kind of main group of football fans like myself are, you know, respect the other side, respect the fans, because they also have the same kind of tribal, you know, feeling about their team. So there's what you would call footy banter. You know, you can take the piss out. I got friends that are Liverpool. I got friends that are Arsenal. I hate Arsenal, but I love my mate, and I take the piss out of him because he's a gooner. You know what I mean? And it's like my best friends are Tottenham, and like, you know, West Ham Tottenham is like one of the biggest rivals in the Premier League, and like, you know, traditionally there's been, you know, huge kind of ridiculous riots and shit between the fans. But, you know, we love each other, and we're just having a bit of kind of banter between each other. And that's the truth. So I think if you really want to be, you know, if you really want to get into football and English football, you have to choose a team. You got to choose a team, because it doesn't matter. You'll still have that banter. You're not alienating. You're just becoming part of the culture.
Okay. I mean, I did like that with it was when I was a kid, man. I grew up in the 80s. Like, I'm a little younger. I'm 47. You're in the 50s, I think. And the Browns we talk about old stadiums. We had the old Cleveland Stadium, which is built in 32, and then they got the new one now. But the old stadium was so just cavernous and decrepit, and they would make it hostile. We had people throwing batteries on the field, snowballs.
Yeah.
And it was it's just, I think a lot of it is just we grew out of it, and it's just a different. I don't know, we're all connected more than we were back in the 80s. Like back in the 80s, I never saw Steelers fans. You know, you go to the only time you see me is at a game. And now it's like, you know, like you said, we're all friends. It's all friendly now. So I think just the society in general just kind of rivaled it down. You know what I mean? It's
changed. It's changed a lot. Society, culture, the zeitgeist has just changed so much since the 80s. There was a little bit more kind of animosity. You know, there was a lot of disenfranchised youth. You know, there was more poverty, you know, and yeah, England was it was kind of a bit more of a rough place. You know, these days, as you say, we're a little bit more connected with the social media and everything else. It's just different now. It's different.
All right. Should you have kept David Moyes as manager?
Well, if the start of this season's anything to go by, then yes. But I think we needed a change, to be quite honest with you. David had run his course. I respect him, and you know he did great things for the club. He got us our first trophy in like 50 years. I was there in Prague. It was unbelievable. Okay. Best Wednesday of my life. And I'm married with 3 kids, so just don't tell the wife. But yeah, it was the best, and I have to thank him for that time. It was absolutely amazing. But I think that it was just time for a change, you know. So whether this is the correct change, I don't know, because obviously we started off pretty shocking this season. Because we've got such an amazing squad. We bought a whole bunch of incredible players. We've got, you know, a very competitive, very forward-thinking group of players. And he just hasn't gotten, you know, firing on all cylinders yet. That's all. They're just going to take a while to bed him in.
Well, when you talk back to the trophy that you won, it's one of the best moments of your life. And listen, for all you wives out there, there might be some women out there, so it's not, but mostly wives. When your guy's team wins the championship, when it wins the thing, it's going to be up there for the moment of his life. And people maybe say, "Oh, that's ridiculous." No, I mean, you can get married many times. You can get married 100 times if you want. You can have 100 kids. You can't control your team winning. So when your team wins, like, it's up here. When the Cavs won in 2016, they finally won the title. That was the first title in my lifetime. I'm a die-hard sports fan, dude. I was damn near 40. That was the first time in my life I won anything. I went crazy. Yeah. I couldn't tell you how much money I spent just on the hotels and booze and weed and everything. I just went off. We were sitting at the bar down the street. We are the champions. It's 11:30. As soon as they opened, I had the time of my life. And the second, I'm 47. If I can live to be 80 and the Browns can win the Super Bowl, everything's on pause. I'm calling off for a week. I told my boss, I told the wife, told the kids, don't see me. Don't expect me to do anything for a week. It's not happening. We're having some fun. So if you're out there, your wife, cut us some slack when the teams win the championship. And if you say it's just a game, that's antagonizing it. We're probably going to get angry. You don't want those results. So just, be careful on that. All right.
Yeah. No, my wife is incredibly supportive of that with me. She knows how much it means to me, and she watches the games with me too. So, yeah, I think you got a good woman when they support you in that respect.
Yes, sir. All right. Will forgive me for mispronouncing this guy's name. Will Lope Tugai be given time, and how do you rate him?
Oh, Lopetegui. So we call him J-Lo, Julian Lopetegui. So we start calling him J-Lo. So yeah, I think the board will give him time. This is, was he played like 6 games? It's very early days. It has been shit the first beginning of this season. It really has. We've played really badly, but there are glimmers of hope, because some of the players in that squad, I mean, God, they're so good. Kudos, Paquetá, Jared Bowen, who I met recently, which is pretty amazing. I think the board will give him time. You can't go around sacking managers after 5 games. I would be disappointed if they did that.
It sounds like a Browns thing. We fire guys after 1 season up here. That's a great. Now, are you
one season? Yeah, I get it. But 5 games?
5 games is a little much. Yeah. Are you a season ticket holder, or do they just let you in the back door? How's that work?
Well, I'm a celebrity fan, so they just come on in. No, I'm not a season ticket holder. I've actually just moved back from the States, so there was no point in me being a season ticket holder, because I was very often, if I'm back in England, I'm on tour, especially weekends, and otherwise I was in LA, so I just didn't see the point in getting a season ticket. But now that I'm back in the UK, possibly I'm gonna look into that for sure. Yeah.
Okay, this year back in it. When did you move back to England, and what is the best thing about the States they don't have in England, and why is it the Waffle House?
There's a few things that I missed living in LA. A few things I missed about America, about England. Sorry. Well, for a start, footy banter. You've got to find your people, and there are actually. That's a little disingenuous of me to say, because there are actually quite a few Americans that I've met over the years that are almost more knowledgeable about the Premier League than most British people. And when Americans get into the Premier League and into football, they really get into it. Like, so I love that. But there's nothing quite like having that football banter with my mates that I grew up with, or West Ham buddies or whatever, So there's that. Beer. You guys don't know how to do session ale, man. You got, honestly, way too hoppy, way too strong. It's like, I remember having a pint with my friend in LA, just going for a pint, and I had one drink, and I was like drunk already. I was like, what the hell? What's the percentage in this? Oh, it's 13%. I was like, fucking 13%. We're used to like 4% in a normal English pub, It's like crazy. So I missed that. Because I lived in LA, it's a desert, I miss the green and pleasant land. Obviously, you're a Midwesterner. I love the Midwest. My wife is from Indiana. I spent a lot of time in the Midwest, so that almost reminds me a little bit of a lot of England, a lot of countryside, a lot of farmland. I miss that. But I won't miss. I definitely miss the weather. Because, in England, it's obviously drizzly and rainy, dull and grey most of the time, whereas, in LA. But then I got a friend who says never trust anywhere where the sun always shines, right?
LA is a rough place, man. LA's okay, but it's just so expensive. And it's like, I mean, the old thing in the States was, you want to get famous to move to LA or New York. But, man, New York, you got to be fucking built different to live in New York. And LA is just, you got to have $1 million. I mean, it's not cheap out there, man. I got my house here in the state, this $200,000 house in Ohio is probably, $750,000 out in LA. It's
oh yeah, and the rest. Yeah, and it's so true, because we were looking to buy over there, and I mean, it was crazy. We were there for 12 years, and I started during COVID. I started looking at houses in Indiana, thinking, let's just go to Indiana for a little bit, And honestly, the amount of I could have got for what I was wanting to spend in LA, I would have been in a castle with acres of land, and it's mad. It is absolutely crazy, the price of houses over there. It's madness.
All right, we got a question from Mick, and he's giving me guff because I brought him cheese in a can when I visited. But did you ever had spray cheese when you were here? And what's your opinion on spray cheese?
It's not really cheese, is it? Let's be honest.
No, they hated that. I had one buddy, my buddy Laz. He's like, I am not going to eat this. He went in the corner, sat on the couch. All my other buddies were drunk. Like, this is great. He's like, this is an insult to fucking cheese. I'm not doing it. It was great.
It's not really cheese. My kids loved it. I mean, they grew up on that shit. That was like lunchbox central for us. Yeah, cheese in a can. Love it.
I love cheese in a can. I know you guys, you English. Man, but we'll get you there.
We don't know what we're missing, do we?
Right. Well, you're probably missing, cancer and all them bullshit we put in our food, but cheese again, yay. All right, now I know you hate talking, and I know you have to talk about the song because it's your business, but and you got to be sick of it by now for sure. But the one and only was already a hit before it was on the Doc Hollywood soundtrack, correct?
Yeah, I'd already been number one in the UK and pretty much all over Europe at that point. And it was climbing the charts in the US, but slightly slowing down at that point. And then, Michael J. Fox picked it up, and that was what put it over the edge in the States. And I'm still very grateful to Michael for that one.
Now, were you invited to the premieres at the time back in '91?
Yeah, I was, but I was on tour in Europe. I remember getting back. It was so long ago that I remember those days. I got a telegram. I was got one backstage, telling me that the record was number 10 in the US, and it was just unbelievable times, really unbelievable. But I never went to any of the premieres.
So you didn't get to smoke weed with Michael J. Fox and Woody at all, then, is what you're saying, what I'm hearing. Okay.
I mean, there's still time. There's still time.
Now, how many times have you seen the movie, and when was the last time you saw that movie?
Doc Hollywood?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've probably seen it maybe 3 times, maybe 4. I'll go 4 because I think I showed my kids. I love that film. I think it's great. I think that was Michael J. Fox in his absolute peak. You know, he was like still quite young, still kind of like had that kind of vibrancy about him. And I mean, he was a proper film star at that point. I really enjoyed that film. It's a proper family film as well, you know. And I have to say that, you know, when you get, I've had a lot of film song placements in films over the years. That one is the all-time great for me because you never get the whole song played on a film. You might be lucky to get like 20 seconds, 30 seconds playing on the radio behind somewhere you can't really pick it out. And, you know, I know in the 80s it was always like closing credits is the thing, but for me, that song in that film was unbelievable because it was like right at the beginning of the film, right through all the opening credits, the whole song, Michael J. Fox in his red Porsche Boxster, and it's like, you know, top down, going through like the Midwest, and it's like all these American scenes behind, and then right at the end when it kind of climaxes towards the end of the song, he crashes the Boxster into a fence, and that's it, and it's like film start. And I was like, wow, it's a miracle.
Wow. Great movie. I'm gonna go back and watch it. It's been a minute. I probably haven't seen that movie in 30 years, dude. No,
yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch it now too.
And there's titties in that movie, and my viewers know I like me some titties, so that's a highly recommended part there. Now, aside from the titties, do you watch yourself on screen?
That's true. When she's coming out the lake, that was the moment.
Yes, I just emailed.
It's a beautiful scene.
It was funny because I just emailed. I think her name's Julie something. I just emailed her because I try to get people on the show, and every time it's all random, and we spur stuff. Like for you, I was trying to. I think I looked back at my original email for you. It was like June of 2023. I was like, "Geez, it's been a long time trying to get you on." Because how is your dad doing? Is he okay? I know he's you know.
He's I think the best way to describe where my dad is right now is he's defying science.
Okay.
You know, he's had 10 years of brutal treatment, and it's taken its toll. He's in good spirits because he's a tough old bastard. So, you know, in that way, he's doing well. But, you know, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's one of those. I lost my dad. Not to get down morbid tracks, but yeah, I mean, you know, life is short, man. It's you know, just appreciate the time you have here and roll with it, man. It's fun.
No, that's it, man. That's it.
Now, do you watch like you say you watch it with your kids? Like me personally, I don't watch back a lot of the old shows. I don't really watch myself on screen much because I'm always trying to produce new shit. Do you watch a lot of your stuff, or is that just kind of thing you just like whatever, I did it and I'm done?
No, I move on. Move on. Yeah, it's the only reason that I would rewatch certain things would be one because you know with the kids or whatever because they hadn't seen Buddy's song or something like that. You know, I don't very often look back, or if I'm like I just did a box set a couple of years ago now. And put that out, and of course I had to dig back into the archives. So I like looking at old footage of me on top of the pops and you know, old you know, music videos from like the early 90s and stuff like that. I had to kind of go through it, you know, and listen to old demos and things like that. It was quite cathartic in a way, actually. That
it's raw. People have to, it's like me, like for example, if I was like a clip something or something, you know, you go back and you're trying to find the right spot to clip. At the end of the day, you say cathartic. That's a great word to describe it because it is really. You're just like I don't want to spend 15 hours clipping this.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good question from Steve. Welcome, Steve. He says, "I only know Chesney from the one song. Do you have a suggestion of an album I could start with?" So yeah, if somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, Chesney, besides your hits, what's an album that you like that I could start with? That's really really could get me into your music."
I would go. I mean, I wish I could say my new album is not out yet. It's coming out early next year. But I'm very, very excited about this one. There's a single out. I've got a new single out. So go and listen to Get a Hold of Yourself. But if you're going to go start with an album, I would go with Real Life Love, which was my kind of last album back from 2012.
All right. We're going to get into the Don't Get a Hold of Yourself in a second because I have some questions about that video. Livestock said, were there any cows in your videos? Only asking because of the drink, he says. Did you have you ever have any cows in your videos? He's a really big cow guy.
Oh, he's obviously a livestock man.
Yeah. He loves his cows.
Yeah, they probably were actually in this latest video because I was in up in northern England in Cheshire. and we were on the roof of a stately mansion, and it was like farmland everywhere. Probably more likely sheep than cows, to be quite honest with you. But I'm sure if you zoom in and look careful enough, there's going to be some livestock there.
All right, now let's get into this new single, Get a Hold of Yourself. Now, how did you not fall off the roof in that video, bro?
I know. One little gust of wind, I would have been in the gardens, eh? Yeah. So that was a moment. It definitely was a moment.
All right, now this is random as hell, but when I was watching this video, you reminded me so much of Tony Hawk for some reason. Now, have you ever met Tony Hawk, or have you ever skateboarded at all?
No. Oh yeah, I'm a definite skateboarder. I was in like a skateboard gang when I was a little younger, and yeah, I obviously know a lot about Tony Hawk, but I'm not really a skateboarder in the same way that he is. You know what I mean? I don't do tricks and ollies and all that shit. I'm a bit more of a cruise between pubs kind of longboard type of guy. You know?
I gotcha. All right, now this video, you're butt ass naked. It seems like. Now, were you wearing pasties or something to cover up your front? Obviously, you're showing your ass, but like your front, was there like a block thing, or you're just balls naked the whole video?
No, I was swinging in the wind, mate.
Oh, geez.
I had to do it. I had to bear all because the song itself is about freedom of self-expression and kind of getting to a certain age where you don't give a what anyone thinks of you, and you earned the right to kind of be you, and you can have fun in later life as you get into your 50s, and just kind of it's about kind of self empowerment and just possibilities and overcoming adversities, but just kind of looking for the positives in your life and following those positives to keep your mental health in a good place. That's what it's about. So I wanted to do something brave and bold, and I think I did, to be honest with you. It was I saw the film Saltburn, and you've probably seen it, where the lead, Barry Keoghan, was like prancing around naked in a stately mansion, and I was like, I think I need to do something as brave as that. And there were other ideas coming through with the team and stuff, and I just kept going back to it. I was like, no, guys, it's not good enough. I think I'm going to have to get my kit off. So that's what we did, And I threw a bit of Risky Business in there, a bit of Full Monty, a bit of Calendar Girls, a bit of Home Alone, a bit of Simpsons movie, when Bart's on the skateboard naked and being covered by certain things as it goes past. That was all the inspiration behind that one.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, after this interview's over, go watch the video for Get a Hold of Yourself, and it's he's naked the whole video. But did you get any buddies from when you were a kid? Like, come on, Chesney, what's this? Did anybody give you some shit? There's got to be some people like, come on, brother.
No, I had a little bit, not a lot. It's been pretty much all love, to be honest with you. I was expecting to have a lot more pushback with this, and my kids. I don't think I would have done this 10 years ago when the kids were in the school playgrounds. I think that would have been a rough place for them. So now that they're young adults and, late teens and early 20s, they're like, oh, it's just dad doing this thing, and, he's having a midlife crisis or something, But no, to be honest with you, all the media, most people I see, all the social media, like TV and stuff, everyone's been really positive about it and just seeing it for what it is. Because, it's quite obvious that it's very tongue in cheek. I'm not taking myself too seriously. I didn't train for it and try and make myself look like fucking, Ryan Gosling or something. And I'm a little bit dad bod, it's just one of those kind of, I'm just having fun. I'm just having a bit of a laugh, and I think people can relate to that and can see the fun in it,
Well, we're all dads. I mean, we're not all on steroids, and we're not going to look like The Rock. So, I mean, you got to embrace your masculinity, what it is. I mean, me personally, I probably couldn't pull it off because I'd need some hair removal, if I'm being honest. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do with that stuff, man. Now, this house, you said it was up in the north of England, so it's obviously not your house now. All this artwork and stuff, and this is $1 million place, a multi-million-dollar place. It looks like. Who owns all this artwork? How do you get permission to use this house? What's the deal there?
Well, it was actually it's a place called Arley Hall in Cheshire, and it was used as Thomas Shelby's house in Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I've heard it. I've heard it. I haven't really watched it much.
Yeah. So no, it's an amazing show. So yeah, it's been in all sorts of film and TV. They rent it out. As simple as that. They rent it out. It's a a grade 1 listed building that, probably built in the 1400s or something like that. One of those crazy English historical monument houses and proper English country gardens. And you say $1 million house, it's probably worth like $100 million. It is incredible, like the most beautiful place you've ever stepped foot in, And then I desecrated it by taking my clothes off.
Doing your best Austin Powers opening scene impression. I mean, there's no way you didn't get some kind of inspiration from the thing on that. Now, you had to have seen Austin Powers. What is a scene from that movie or a line you're completely sick of, and what is one you just can't stop laughing at to this day?
What you mean in the video, or
the one, the Austin Powers movie itself? What is a line from Austin Powers that you just are dead sick of, and then what is one that you just can't get enough of?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I was really a massive Austin Powers fan, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know enough about the films to be able to give you any quotes, really, except for the $1 million.
I still like when they were in the can and Tom Arnold was sitting next to Mike Myers, and he's sitting there with the guy coming in trying to. He's like, "You show that turd who's boss." That's good. That fucking gets me laughing every time into the day,
that's good, man. That's really good.
Great.
He's a bit of a genius, isn't he, Mike Myers?
Oh, he's awesome out there, man. I like Mike Myers. Did you enjoy doing reality shows, or is that one of those things that just come up and they just pay you and you're just like, whatever am I doing?
I mean, I've never done one that I felt like I was kind of selling my soul type of thing. I did MasterChef. I thought that was cool because it kind of got to kind of learn a little bit about cooking and, hung out with Jamie Oliver and stuff. And that was good fun. I did another one called The Games, which was kind of, you had to learn a bunch of Olympic disciplines. So I learned how to high dive and I really enjoyed that, got really fit. I actually got my 6-pack back for that one. I was sumo wrestling, I was throwing a javelin, I was high diving, I was cycling, I was running, and that there's a good reason for doing that kind of stuff. It's the things like sitting on a couch and like Big Brother or stuff that I'm not sure about. I mean, never say never, Joe, to be honest with you, but because they're all experiences, and I am definitely one to push myself out of my comfort zone. And try things in life, because if you don't do that in life, then you don't grow. You really have to push yourself and kind of go those places that you don't really want to go. And reality TV has given me that a little bit here and there. I learned how to ice skate for dancing on ice, which is equivalent to Dancing with the Stars, I guess, over there. And that was fun. That was, it was interesting. I broke my leg, but I mean,
dude, ice skating hurt the ankles. They have the skating thing up at the North. I'm in North Olmsted, Ohio, and they got a skating rink at the rec center. And every now and then they have an event for the kids, and they go up there and skate. So I never skated. I'm from Cleveland. We don't have a hockey team. It's not really that frozen, so it's not like I grew up in New Hampshire or some shit where you're Canada, where it's cold as hell. But like, my ankles would like bend, and it was just not the most comfortable thing in the world.
No, I literally I had a horrible accident on the ice. I literally ripped all the kind of ligaments inside my ankle and broke my leg as well, all in one foul swoop. Yeah, that was my ice skating career over with right there.
How did you? Were you like jumping up off the ice? How did you break your ankle?
No, I was hungover. That was the problem. I wasn't even. It was New Year's Day. And my wife was like, "Don't go." But the live show was starting in like 4 days, and I was really into it. I was getting quite good at this ice skating, and it's just the thing about pushing yourself into these kind of things. If you put your mind to something for 3 months or whatever, like I was doing, and working with these incredible people, you really get good at things. That's the thing. So another thing that reality TV has done for me is like realization that we are, as humans, capable of anything. There's no way that you can't do anything if you just put your mind to it. It's pretty amazing, really. So yeah, I got really good at it, but that was a bad mistake. I should not have got on the ice that day. I was too hungover, and I wasn't even doing anything stupid. You know, I was like, at the time I was like able to kind of like lift girls over my head while I'm ice skating, and like, you know, spin, and I was just doing all sorts of crazy shit. And then, you know, I was hungover and I wasn't even going very fast, and I just went over, and my ankle gave way. Pop, pop, done.
Man, I've never broken an ankle. I've broken a toe and an arm before. Thank God I've never broken an ankle. Watch later today. I'll probably break an ankle. You know how it goes. All right, let's get into some silly questions from the audience and some silly stuff. Have you ever met Roger Daltrey, and what was he like?
Yeah, I know. I starred in a film with Roger. That was kind of my big break. A film called Buddy Song. So I played his son, and he is an amazing guy. Actually, he's one of those obviously total legend, rock legend. He's quite like gruff, like he'll say it like it is. You know, you can't. He doesn't pussyfoot around. If he wants to say something, he'll say it. Which I respect, actually. It's definitely something that I feel like I got quite a lot from him. He gave me great advice. One being never come off the road. You know, always play live. No matter what you do, no matter what's happening, just keep on the road. I stuck to that, and it's really, really been good for me. It's probably why I'm still talking to you right now. So, you know, we're still in touch. I haven't seen him for a couple of years now, so I must give him a call. He's a good guy. He's one of the good boys.
Yes, sir. All right. Do you think British music is on the rise again? For example, Oasis, guys like you are coming back. I mean, because that's a great question for Duke, actually. Because like I talked to quite a bit of UK people on the show, you know, old rock artists, shit like that. And I mean, the 80s and 90s was kind of dominated in a lot of aspects from that tiny island in, you know, England. Like, do you think it's coming back? Do you think that we're gonna, or is that like the, you know, the big huge British invasion era? Is that kind of over? What's your take?
I mean, I think things come in cycles. It is kind of funny that you know, Oasis never really made it in the States. You know, I mean, I know they had a kind of a minor hit with Wonderwall, but over here it was like that was a cultural reference point. You know, they were the most important band since the Beatles. There's no doubt about it. And you know, they definitely didn't have anything like that kind of, you know, they weren't part of the zeitgeist in America, really. But now, 30 years later, you know, they're making a comeback. And of course, you know, over here, everyone's just losing their shit over them, you know, reforming and gigging. And that, I feel like, is spilling out, maybe because of social media and you know, it makes the world a smaller place. It's kind of spilling over into the States. And I hear people talking about the Oasis reunion, and I was like, but they weren't even big in the States. What are you talking about? You know, but of course now you can go back and you can listen to the old stuff, and there's like, you know, kids that are like singing Wonderwall, and even American kids are listening to Oasis, you know, and suddenly they're like this huge band in the States, which is great. Same thing's happening with Robbie Williams right now. Like, he never made it in the States. And he's an old friend of mine, Rob. And, you know, now he's got this film coming out called, I can't remember, it's called The Something Man, The Hidden Man, or something like that. And it's like, he's got this incredible CGI film it's a biopic. And they used a CGI monkey for him. And so they're using all of his music and going. It's made by the people that did the Greatest Showman. So it's going to be a huge kind of budget thing, and it's like it's got a theatrical release in the States. And same kind of thing. He had like a minor hit with Angels, I guess, in the States. But now people are going to get to know his music and his kind of career 30 years later in the States, which is pretty cool. You know, I kind of like that. So I feel like there is something going on as far as like Brits invasion. You know, it's an interesting time, but it's not new artists that are doing it. It's us old fuckers.
Right. It's weird, man. Because if you think about, I look at this and I see, you know, like all these kids nowadays, and it seems like everything culture-wise stopped after the year 2000. Like I look at kids out there still wearing Mario Brothers shirts, still wearing Star Wars shirts, his older shirts. These are shirts that we were when we were kids, the Spider-Man and Batman. They don't come up with nothing new past the year 2000. I think that's the And that's when they started to get the computers, started to get the analytics, started, oh, this test, look, that works good. And people really like Seinfeld. And people really like, the shit from the 80s and 90s. And they just keep double down on it. And how many Mario Brothers video games that we had, and, shit like that. We were kids when Mario Brothers came out. It's kind of a non-creative world. That's why I like, thinking up new stuff. Cause like the creative block is just dead. They just, these companies come up with analytics like, oh, this works. Let's run with it. And let's beat it to death until it doesn't work. It's just not the way entertainment should work, in my opinion. But who am I?
No, I completely agree with you, and it's the same for film. It's like no one's got an original idea in Hollywood anymore. It's like let's just rehash everything. Let's make a new version of Roadhouse. Let's do a new version of this and that. I mean, you're absolutely right. There's no originality anymore, and it all comes from data and analytics and algorithms and all that shit. So that, I don't like that at all. I mean, obviously there are some creative people out there, and there are people doing new music that is, there's some great artists, some great new young artists that I absolutely love and discovering at the moment, and a lot of great American artists that I'm really into at the moment. Young artists like I don't know if you've heard of Medium Build, country kind of alternative country artist, bloody amazing. I love him. And artists like Phoebe Bridgers, I love her. There's a lot. If you search, there's some great artists out there. Up and coming artists. So I still have faith. I think
eventually we'll get a backlash to all the mass produced AI crap and just live music and venues. I mean, people gotta get out of the house. Bottom line. I mean, some people are still in that pandemic mindset, and if you don't get out there and support the artists, go to the shows. I mean, it might be a little expensive, but the music's gonna die. I mean, you don't want AI music. Trust me when I tell you. All right, we got a question from Steve. He says, have you ever played a venue in Sunderland at the northeast of England?
Yeah, of course. I think I've played every bloody venue in the United Kingdom now over the years. I mean, absolutely. Love Sunderland. The northeast is awesome. They're big in their football, man. I don't know if you know that, but like, Newcastle, Sunderland, it's such an amazing part. The Geordies are the most passionate football fans in the UK, I would say. And I absolutely love going to the northeast. It's brilliant.
All right, now these are some random silly questions, but did you guys have this thing in the UK back in the day on a payphone called Call Collect? What we would do, we would just pick up the phone and they'd be like, "All right, play the call." I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, this is Joe. Come pick me up." And then they deny the call and they could pick you up and you save a quarter on the payphone. Did you guys do that too?
Yeah, of course. Call Collect, yeah. Yeah.
All right. When was the last time you had shrimp?
Oh, actually, 2 days ago. Here in where was I when that happened? Helsinki. Yeah, I had like a shrimp cocktail. They're good at it over here.
Oh, they got boats right there by the ocean. They should be good at shrimp in Helsinki. God, I ain't never been to Scandinavia. Is Scandinavia a visitable area for like?
Oh, it's so good. It's really good. You have to remortgage your house to come though, because it's like ridiculously expensive everywhere you go. Like just for a beer, it ends up being probably $20 for a beer.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty mental. But they have an amazing way of life over here. Their kids start school at like 7. Their healthcare is all universal and everything taken care of. Their wages are higher. It's just way of life. They just know what they're doing over here. They're so good. They're so good over here.
I think the more colder the climate is, the more resourceful and practical people get because they have to be because it's cold. You know what I mean? I'll get to it. Don't worry. I'm going to ask the question in a little bit. All right. How long could you sit at a library and do nothing before you fell asleep?
I think I could probably do, to be honest with you, because my life is so fast and so crazy, and I'm going from country to country and gig to gig and everything else. My attention span has definitely gone down. And I guess since the advent of social media, where TikTok is you got 30 seconds, go on, impress me. I long for the days when you could just sit and read a book or just sit and meditate or whatever, So give me like 4 hours in a library. I would love that right now. Right,
that does sound bliss, just sitting there doing nothing. But then at the end of the day, it's you get so. I don't know. It's weird because like I went camping with the scouts with the boy a couple weekends back, and
Nice.
there was no cell phone service. Like this thing was dead. Like there was no bars. I couldn't even check the scores. And in a way, it was kind of nice because I wasn't like. And then when I did get to some area where I could check it, there was no messages. Nobody gives a fuck. I mean, so it's like at the end of the day, you know, I think all this we need to constantly be connected. That's just all in our heads. We don't really.
It totally is. No, whenever I mean, listen. I think everybody has had those experiences over the last few years where you don't have your phone or you don't have signal for a couple of days or whatever, and it is so nice to switch off. It's liberating, you know. You think you're going to miss out on stuff, and everyone's got FOMO, but really, do we need it? You know, remember what it was like when we were kids? You didn't need it, you know.
You miss it, you move on.
Technology.
Next week, exactly. Hell yeah. What is your favorite airline you've been on, and do you have a least favorite?
Yes and yes. My favorite airline that I've ever been on is probably Qatar Airways.
Okay.
That was like, you know, I was in first class. I was looked after. You've got your own kind of person there looking after you, almost like a butler, but a beautiful girl, you know, looking after you. And I mean, everything you need. Nice pod. Oh, geez, it's like you didn't want to get off. You know, it was amazing. My least favorite airline, I mean, it's those budget ones that, you know, over here you got these budget airlines like EasyJet, Ryanair, those kind of things, like where they make you pay for everything. They make you pay if you need a pee, you know. I hate that. It's like, come on, just give me a price and let's just, you know, and just take me where I need to go. That's what's all I need. I don't need you to, you know, overprice for. Okay, so you got a little bag. Well, that's an extra 50 quid. Oh, okay, you got a big bag. Oh, that's an extra 100 quid. You know. Oh, you want speedy boarding? Oh, well, that's another 50 quid. You know.
Right. If you don't want to sit like this, you know, that my son hates Frontier Airlines and Spirit. He hates those airlines. Spirit especially. It's like they make you pay for snacks. This is ridiculous. What I don't like, Chesney, is they get this basic economy rate now. It's not like basic economy is basically like we're going to take about half the legroom you had and give you none. So me and my son, I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3". My son's, you know, damn near 6 foot. We're sitting there literally like this all the way to Virgin Islands. Couldn't move. I mean, it's great getting to the Virgin Islands, but I mean, they got to do better with the airlines. I mean, they built these seats for people back in the 50s or wherever, and it's, I mean, my God, it's I'm gonna have people on my lap next time. I don't know. It's I don't like some of these budget airlines. It's hard, you know. I'm just a regular working guy. I don't have any multi-platinum records yet, so it's like, you know, for me to shell out an extra $75 for 4 hours just so I can, you know, move my knee to the right a little bit just seems kind of silly. But I don't know. For me to change airlines,
agreed. I agree.
Right, it's ridiculous. All right, when was the last time you were at the zoo?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? That was probably in LA. Maybe 4 years ago. We had an annual pass for the Los Angeles Zoo. So yeah, we used to go now and again as like a family. Probably more than 4 years. I'd say 4 years. It's probably more like 6 years ago. Yeah, probably pre-COVID.
Did you ever go to the San Diego Zoo?
Yeah, of course. The best.
That's hilly. The best. Right? That's a hilly zoo. That's so hilly. If those have never been to the San Diego Zoo, you got to climb straight up to go to some of the exhibits. It's a little.
But there's two. See, in San Diego, you've got the wild animal park, and you've got the zoo, and they're both pretty great. But I think the wild animal park is what it's all about.
All right, we got a silly question from Doof. Bear with us on the answer. This is silly. He just likes asking this question. Do you happen to know where Sarah Palin is from?
She's from Alaska.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna die laughing now. He loves that joke. All right.
Why would that? Why is that funny? Because I'm into American politics. So
Alaska. I'll ask you. Where's Salem from?
I'll ask you. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, there's the joke. I got you now. I was a bit slow on that one, wasn't I?
Now, Beatles or Queen? Who would you pick out of those two bands?
Beatles all day long. Love Queen. I actually know Brian May quite well. But if it wasn't for the Beatles, I would not be here with you right now.
And you met Paul McCartney, is that correct?
I've met Paul. I met Ringo briefly, and I also have met George Harrison.
Oh, okay. Good deal. George Harrison. Yeah, his name I heard in a minute. All right. What drugs are illegal that you think should be legal?
If I had my way, I would make cannabis legal across the country for sure. And I think Kamala Harris has said she would do that if she wins. We'll see.
Yeah, it's inevitable. I predict I'm a very, 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 very pro weed show here over in the Score Table Degenerates, and I predicted by 2030, I think all the Western world will have it. I mean, the Canada already has a nationwide. You got 23 or 24 states out of 50 that are legal. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't if you got 4 states, like your wife's from Indiana, for example, it's still illegal in Indiana. But in Indiana, you got Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, all around it, and they all got legal weed. You just can't stop that as a police department.
I mean, just go across the border and get your weed legally. Yeah, I mean, I think actually you're being a bit conservative there. I think that it's going to be before 2030. To be honest with you, in the Western world, obviously, I don't think that's going to happen in China and India or whatever. But I think it will definitely happen across the Western world sooner than that. I mean, I think America will be like next year. I do.
Oh yeah, and that's my secret plan. If I was ever in charge of like a special ops group, I'm just gonna airdrop weed into Pakistan and India. Just take care of itself within 30 days. They're gonna
just chill out, man.
Right? I get upset for no theocracy. They're going to be like, the Beatles came here to smoke weed, so we know what's up, and then they're just going to roll with it. All right, have you ever been in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and do you have a favorite car?
Yes, and yes. So I once did a supercar challenge race from London to Paris to see the Le Mans 24-hour race. And I actually drove an Aston Martin, but they were Porsches, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. I got a chance to drive the Ferrari there. So yeah, I love supercars, man. I fucking love them. And my favorite would probably be an Aston Martin. Top of the range Aston, like a Vanguard or something like that. That's the one that I drove all the way down there, and that was so fun.
See, how tall are you? Are you like 6'1"? How tall are you?
No, I'm like 5'9".
Okay, so you can fit in that thing. I have trouble. Well, I'm a bigger guy too. I'm like 250 pounds. Yeah. But it's hard for me to fit in them sports cars. I mean, we don't really drive stick shift over here too much, and that's kind of weird. You guys still embracing the diesel, embracing that stick shift over in the UK.
Yeah. Less diesel these days, but definitely still into the stick. I'd rather have an automatic, to be honest. All that in the traffic in England, you just don't want to be like doing the clutch every 5 seconds.
Oh, dude, on the freeway, it's great. You get out on the open road, and over in England, you got like 3 miles of open road, and you're going to hit traffic again. So it's not really even possible. Like here in the States, if you get out in like I-90 or something, you just cruise for hours. That's great on our stick shift. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you like the Caribbean, and have you ever been to the Virgin Islands?
Yes, I do. Yes, I often go to the Caribbean, actually. I sometimes can be found on a cruise ship. So performing, obviously, and that I have often gone to the Caribbean on cruise ships. So yeah, absolutely love it. Virgin Islands, I think I have been to the Virgin Islands, but very briefly. It would have been kind of like just for a day, come offshore, have a look around. Beautiful.
I love the Caribbean. Me and my boy randomly went in 2021 there, and we've been to St. Thomas probably 3 times now, and it's you just love it. It's just good. You talk about we talked about earlier getting away from the hustle and bustle. I mean, just hearing the waves, seeing the aqua water. I mean, seeing all it's just great. I mean, you can't, there's nothing like it. I mean, I'll give you an example, Chesney. When I was down in St. John, they get one of the highest beaches in the world, and that beautiful water. You look around, and I'm in DC in August, and I'm looking at the Potomac. Nice river, beautiful scenery. But you just look at the water, you're like, geez, man. I got to go from the Caribbean to the Potomac. You see mud flapping over algae.
Yeah, it's a very different world, isn't it? No, I love that too. I love that that beautiful turquoise green waters, and that, I mean, that's my idea of a holiday. I'm more of a kind of a beach guy than a city break type of dude. So yeah, Caribbean's one of my favorite places.
Yes, sir. All right, do you like McDonald's, and what is something they had that you miss?
Not really, to be honest. If you'd have asked me when I was a kid, I would have said yeah all day long, the Big Mac. But I don't really eat any kind of fast food these days. Looking after myself, Joe. You know, you can't go going around eating McDonald's all the time.
I'm trying to. I still got what's this? The Big Mac? No, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. I got to finish here after.
Do you know what? It's funny that you should bring that out, because that is my wife and I's go-to cheat on a Sunday morning after a night out. Bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, man. That they are.
I'm going to show you then too. I got to show you now if that's.
You see, and you can't get those in England. You can't. Yeah, that's my favorite. You can't get those in England. Can't get them. They don't do the biscuits. They do like the egg McMuffin, but you cannot get the egg, bacon, and cheese biscuits. And I miss them.
Yeah, biscuit. What's your take on biscuits and gravy? You've been here to the States. Tell all these UK folks how amazing. I mean, if this is your opinion, it's my opinion. I think it's one of the best foods out there. How amazing it is to eat a biscuits and gravy. Tell these guys.
Yeah, it is definitely an American delicacy. That one. You say biscuits to an English person, and basically that's what cookies are. If you see what I mean. So biscuits are cookies. So you can't compare. So biscuits in America, to you English lot, are basically like scones almost. They're like, you know, kind of slightly dry cakes almost, you know. And you know, and the gravy, by the way, is like gloopy. It's not like our gravy that is kind of, you know, a little bit more liquidy. It's like gloopy white shit with bits of sausage in it. So it's something else.
All right, we got a question from Randy, big barbecue guy. Who has the best barbecue in your opinion? And he says the answer is Texas. My opinion, I don't know. It's everybody in Texas thinks Texas is the best at everything. Texas is okay, but until Texas gets weed, man, come on. But regardless on that, what's your answer to the barbecue thing? What do you think? Is there a region? I mean, have you been to enough places that judge that? What's your take?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in the Midwest, and I have to say, barbecue in Indiana is pretty great. I mean, or as you would say, grilling. You know, I've been to the 4-H fair, man. You know, I've done all that stuff. You know, had the what do they call them? The sirloin tips and that. Oh, I love all that. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know really, to be honest with you. I have had barbecue in Texas. I have had barbecue in Indiana. LA, I wouldn't think know how to do it properly. You know, they eat too much raw fish.
I mean, the best barbecue is the one you're at right there. Is pretty much the answer. I mean, if you
that is the truth. That is very true. It's whatever's right in front of you.
Oh yeah. All right. How long would it take you to park a parallel park a car?
Oh, I'm pretty good at that, actually. Yeah, I'll do that in one, man. I'll do that in one.
Nice, brother. Nice. All right. Before we get out of here, what do you think of your overall life of body of work up to this point, and what projects, if any, would you like to do beyond, you know, music and what you've done?
I'm pretty proud of everything I've put out so far, and you know, I'm still making records now. I've got a new album coming out soon. You're always more proud of your latest work, you know, and I definitely am proud of this album, probably more than anything else. I would like to do a little bit more work in musical theatre. I've done a few. I've played Joseph. I played Jesus in Godspell. Done a few bits and pieces. I've written a musical. Now that's what I really would like to get off the ground. One of my music. Something that I'd written, just get that into the West End or Broadway. That would be an absolute dream. But to be honest with you, I'd be happy just carrying on making music, making my records, touring. I'm so grateful and so honored that I'm able to, you know, to make a living out of flinging a guitar around my neck. And I realized that, you know, most people in this world don't have the same kind of love and passion for what they do. But I feel like I've never really worked a day in my whole life. So, you know, I'm grateful for that. I really am.
That's awesome, man. So if anybody takes anything from this interview, like what you do, and it doesn't feel like work, man, that's how it is.
No, that's it.
Oh, yeah. All right, Chesney, appreciate it, brother. Thanks for popping up, man. It's been an honor, sir.
No, it's been really fun. Thank you. It's a very different to a lot of interviews I've done over the last couple of weeks and doing the promo for this record. So I appreciate the diversity here. It's been nice.
I watched some of the ones I watched a couple of the ones you just did, you know, a couple of the more recent ones on YouTube. And I was thinking, this guy's got to be so, and there was 3-4 jokes in the chat about the song. And I'm like, I'm not even going to say the words of that song because he's down here.
No, I appreciate your research there, Joe. It's actually very, very cool. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, Chesney, we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you guys next time. See you.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks, man.
All right, take it easy.